Here we have the new 2023 Chevrolet Traverse High Country. And this one comes with an all-wheel drive powertrain and a 3.6 liter naturally aspirated V6, made it with a 9-speed automatic transmission. And this is going to come in the beautiful Iridescent Pearl Tricoat on the signature High Country jet black Clove perforated leather interior. And just really love the design since the refresh. Really good looking vehicle. And as we get around the front end here, we have LED daytime running lights. They don't blink, that's just my camera. But we also have LED headlamps. And then I really love how they did this grille here to kind of have that Clove look to it. It's that brushed bronze with the silver. Looks really, really good. And then down here we have the signature High Country 20-inch wheels there. Standard. We get passive keyless entry on all 4 doors, which is always nice. And then here we have the controls for the power door locks, power windows, power mirrors, memory seats, and then our power mirrors fold, and you can see the blind spot monitors in those. And then our driver's side has one-touch up and down auto for the window. And I love how they put this kind of suede here with the kind of leather feel here. And then you just got plastic pieces on the rest of it, but just having that little slight trim there looks really nice. And then over here we have the controls for our power lift gate. So we can turn it 3/4 max or off, and then we can hit the button to open and close it. Then a little storage here, cup holder here, and then a Bose sound system. Headlamp controls. And then here we have our front driver's seat, which is going to be power with power lumbar support. But let's check out the second row. And we can maneuver that just by hitting the lever down here and move it back and forth, and then we can use this to fold the seat back. But I love in this second row door here, we have cup holder, little storage, more storage, and a bigger pocket here. And then we even have it in the back of the seats as well. So really good leg room. I have the seat in front of me adjusted quite a bit back, but I'm 6'3", and I can fit in that front seat perfectly fine. And then when I sit back, my knees don't even touch the back of the second row seat, so I'm very impressed there. And then our rear AC controls, we can do that. We can have an auto setup, or we can dial our fan speed, and then you can turn it all the way to the left to cut it off. And then we can change whether it's on our feet, on our face, or one or the other. And then 3-prong 120 volt household plug-in, 2 USB-A charging ports there, and then we have 3-stage outboard heated seats, which is always nice to have with the captain's chair, so your second row is able to be completely heated if it's cold out. And there is our third row back there, and we have cup holders and USB chargers on either side. And then look at all that leg room. Even with the seat all the way back, you can fit your kids back here. So that's impressive. And then we have a second row skylight here, which I have the shade on now. But we'll take a look at that here in a moment. But before we go to the back, let's go ahead and check out this window sticker. So tons of standard features here. 10-speaker Bose, adaptive cruise. And then the only option on this one is going to be the Iridescent Pearl Tricoat. And you're only stickering 56,715. And then for our gas, we just click the cap there, and then we have a filler, so you don't have to unscrew a cap. And then coming along the back here, we have LED tail lights, dual exhaust there, rear parking sensors. And then plenty of cargo space even behind the third row. And then what's great is when the second row seats are up far enough, we can fold them flat for even more cargo space. So very, very impressive there. For going up here to the front passenger seat, we do have power with power lumbar up here as well. And I just really love the overall finish of the High Country, from the outside, especially in this iridescent pearl tricoat, to the interior, with how that Clove is in the inserts for the perforated leather, and then the trim. It just looks really, really great. But we'll just take a quick look in the engine bay. And it's mostly covered up, but there's that 3.6 liter naturally aspirated V6. But now let's go ahead and hop in the driver's seat. So the steering wheel here, leather wrapped, heated. Really like how I can place my bigger hand throughout, depending on how I like to drive or how I like to turn, whatever. But it just feels really nice. There's a toggle for that there. Let's go ahead to this radio here. We do have AM, FM, XM radio along with Bluetooth audio, and then we get wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto compatibility as well. And then we can use our climate controls here. So we have tri-zone automatic climate controls because we have the rear, which we can toggle from up front, set that. And we also have the two sides up front here for the driver and front passenger. And there's our backup camera there. We have a front camera too. Like I said, I really like that all this comes standard on the High Country. Curbside view cameras, tow hitch view. Just really a lot to work with. And then we have those same dual zone automatic climate controls as buttons and knobs down here. And then we have the 3-stage heated and cooled seats, which come standard. Those controls are up here for either side. And then what I really like is we have an SD card reader for the navigation, 2 USB-A inputs, but we still get an aux input for those of us who like using that, which I always like. Then we have a 12 volt here. There's a wireless charging pad. Big enough size for pretty much all phones. And then for our shifter here, we just hit the button behind, pull down, reverse, neutral, drive, and then low mode. And then we can manually shift low mode here. Then we have an electronic parking brake, pull up to engage, press down to disengage. And then for our all-wheel drive system, we can just toggle through 2-wheel, all-wheel, and then we have an off-road mode and then a tow haul mode. And then we can just go back to the 2-wheel drive if we keep turning to the right. Then we can toggle the auto stop there and the lane departure there. Pretty good center console cubby space with a removable tray. It's a little plastic down in there, but really deep. But mostly you can put all your stuff that you don't normally use down there, and then all your little stuff up here. And then we have the controls for our skyscape sunroof here, universal home remotes here. But I really like this. You do have to hold it, but I like having a push button shade for the second row, so I don't have to reach back and pull it or rely on the kids to take care of that. And then this front one, we can one-touch tilt or slide, open and shut. That's as far back as it goes there. And then here's our rear camera mirror as well. We can toggle that here. And there's a view of the back from up here. Just want to get a quick close-up of that stitching. I just love that color combo there. It looks really sleek. And once again, we have that kind of leather suede kind of trim going on there. Really like that. And then here we have our glove compartment, pretty decent size. Then we have our owner's manual as well. And going back to the steering wheel, we have our cruise controls here, and we can toggle that. We can adjust the gap for the adaptive cruise and forward collision alert there. And then we have voice recognition controls here, and we can use these 4 arrows and the check marks for the digital part of our gauge cluster. And there's our push button start. Then we have our automatic high beams here. We can toggle that, turn signals, windshield wiper controls, and then our rear. And then finally, here's our key fob with remote start. But next, it's time we go ahead and take this all-wheel drive Traverse High Country out on the road for a quick test drive. So I've driven the 3.6 liter in a Traverse. So this is going to drive pretty much identical to the front wheel drive version. Now it will be just a tad heavier having all wheel drive, but I want to just put it into that mode and see how it's different. And I did forget to mention, this does have a power tilt telescoping steering wheel, which is nice. So I have the, let's see, it's not letting me do the adaptive cruise. So I think it's because this is kind of a sport mode. Let me put it back. Okay. Okay, I guess it was just off, but now the adaptive cruise is on. Now, of course, with no one being in front of me, it's not going to slow down, but I believe this one will bring you to a dead stop if the vehicle in front of you stops. And of course, on this platform, the ride is really, really great. But I really do love just how quiet it is in here. It's almost an echo chamber but just not a lot of sound intruding the cabin. And it's not windy at all today, but still. And in this two-wheel drive mode, it really does drive exactly like a normal Traverse, just a front-wheel drive version. But it's nice to have the all-wheel drive handy as well, whether it's for sporty takeoffs or if you're needing it driving in snow and ice. But something I haven't run into has been toggling between the adaptive cruise and then the manual cruise. But you just hold this button to the left and then you can switch between them. So if you don't like having adaptive cruise, that's just an easy fix. But I really do love just all the safety features in this high country. Really just, you get so much. And of course it's mid-50s in terms of the MSRP, but you get so much with this. Adaptive cruise, wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, memory seats, heated cooled seats, nav, the sunroof, the Bose system. So if I were to get one, I would definitely, if I could afford it, go with this, because you get everything you could possibly want. But with all that being said, this is going to bring me to an end of my review of the 2023 Chevrolet Traverse High Country All-Wheel Drive.